Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So whenever I upload a video, audiobook, whatever, in the comments there's always please upload Sweet Temptation audiobook. Now I am working on that because it's like the most requested book, but it's going to take a little bit of time. So I thought, why not make a video on the review and like a read with me session for Sweet Temptation, so that you all get a little bit, into the book. Now, first of all, I'll give a review of the book. I'll read the blurb so the people who do not know get to know a little bit about what the book is. Then we'll talk about what my opinion is, a little bit about the characters, and then there'll be a read-through session, and then there'll be a spoiler section. So if you guys do not want to know the spoiler, you can watch till there and then you can stop. First of all, this book falls within the category of an arranged marriage mafia romance. The blurb of this book is the main two characters of the book. In the book are Cassio. He is the head of Philadelphia, and we have Guilia. I don't know how you pronounce her name, so I'm gonna refer to her as G. Okay, now I'll read it out. The first time Cassio met his fiancée, she called him Sir. After losing his wife, Cassio is left to take care of two small children while trying to establish his rule over Philadelphia. Now he needs a mother for his children and someone who can warm his bed at night. But in a traditional world as his, choosing your wife is a duty and not pleasure. Rules have to be followed, traditions heeded. That's how he ends up with a woman, a girl barely of age. She might not be what he and his children need, but she's wicked lovely and a sweet temptation he can't resist. G always knew she would marry a man her father chose for her, only she never expected to be given to someone so much older. Suddenly, she is supposed to be a mother of two children when she hasn't even held a baby in her life. She quickly realizes that Cassio isn't interested in a relationship on equal footing. Her mother always warned her that men of power like Cassio don't tolerate insolence. Yet, tired of being treated as a nanny and clueless child bride, she decides to fight for her vision of a happy family. It's a very sweet book, we can say. It is not as dark in the mafia sense like the other mafia books of Cora Rielly. This can fall within new adult, a little dark, not that much, but like dark. Then crime, and it has single dad, then age gap, all these tropes, and mafia obviously. Now, a little bit about the characters. Now, Cassio is the maidman who has who rules over the Philadelphia region, and he's very similar in characteristics to Luca. That's why he's also very feared by the people. The book starts with the death of his first wife, and it's a mystery how she dies. There's a scene where he's standing, the wife is dead, but you don't know he killed her or she committed suicide or someone else killed her. You do not know the insides to it. That's actually a mystery which is revealed later in the book. So now and he has two children. One son, Daniel, who is of 2.5, 3 years old, and a daughter, Simona, who is actually, I think, 6 months old. So he needs more of a mother than a wife. And the woman he is given is G. When her name is proposed to him for marriage, she's not even of age, because she's not even 18 years of age. And that is why he takes some time, because he does not want to be married off to someone so young. And at that moment, there are not many other girls who are of the age of marriage. So ultimately, he decides to marry her. Now, the character of G, she has a strength, she has a backbone, a willpower, and she's like the typical teenager, like the first time when they both meet, she is in her in a dress which she paints and which has all sunflowers and bright things. She's not like a sophisticated lady. Casio is in search of, for a wife, and he actually sends her a package before marriage with all the dresses which he wants her to wear, which will make her look more a little bit more older, you can see, because there's an age gap of approximately 14 years between them. I like the character of G. She's very, fun to read, and how she bonds with both the children. It's that part is like really good. But I would say, overall, the mystery portion in the book is good. There's a portion where Casio doubts her relationship with her brother. She has a brother Christian, and he doubts her relationship with him. And there's a background story to it, which is related to the death of his first wife. So it's all like a big jumbled up story, which makes sense at the end. Now it might not make sense. If you wait till the spoiler section, maybe I'll reveal it. Maybe. And she is, in the beginning, she's treated like she has never held a baby in her hand, and she is now the mother of two children. She has to take care of two children, which is actually obviously a big task for her. And the first meet is a total disaster, but after that, she picks herself up, which actually shows that she has the willpower and she wants a happy family. A family which is not just together because they have to be together, because in mafia world there's no divorce, there's death. So she just wants to make, the 4 or 5 people which are there to be actually a family. And this book does not have like a lot of drama. I would say like a patent mafia book, like Cora Rielly's other books also. This book does not have that much of a mafia action or something like that, whatever the word is. The book takes a leap of 9 years towards the end, and that part is actually interesting. Also, there are a lot of, I think this book is more of suspense and mystery, because of the first mystery, there's a second mystery that comes up, and that is what the climax portion is, which I cannot actually say without giving away the spoilers. My point of view for the book is it's a good read, sweet, but I will say it's not exactly a good mafia book, because there are certain aspects which I am looking for when I read a mafia book, which I don't think this book had. But otherwise, this book was a good read. But I think this book is a little overhyped. Maybe I'm wrong, you do not agree with me. Let me know in the comment section, no hate please. But let me know what you think about it. But I think maybe I have a different opinion than yours. For me, there are other books of Cora Rielly which I would say are more better than this. But definitely this is a good book, like a good read, definitely. Also check out the video, which I'll put in the eye. Aesthetically I am convincing you to read, and it's really beautiful. So if you want to watch that, so 16 seconds review. So I hope you like that. Now I will read a portion of the book. I will read 2 portions of the book. First, I will read the epilogue, which is for everybody. And then I will read a chapter which has Luca in it, which is sort of, the spoiler section. So I'll obviously tell you when I'm reading that. So if you do not want to know, you can stop at that. But if you want to listen to the audiobook, not the audiobook, but the epilogue, just continue going on. Now, the book has a total of 25 chapters, not that big, I would say. So I'll start reading the epilogue. Casio. In the past, I had visited my family's beach house to find inner peace and remind myself of the beauty in life. I'd gotten up early to stand on the porch and watch the ocean roll over the white beach and to listen to the calming whooshing of the water without being disturbed. I often brought work with me. Today I slept in, something Julia had taught me. It was already past 9 when I stepped onto the porch. Julia and the kids were already up. Laughter drifted up to me from the beach, not the quiet of the past. I didn't miss it. I hadn't come here to find the inner peace or see something beautiful. Inner peace has found me when Julia stepped into my life. I didn't have to drive hundreds of miles to seek a beach house for that. Now I only had to come home to my wife. Too beautiful for words inside and out. I closed my eyes, tilting my head up to the early morning sun, letting it warm my upper body and face. Many aspects of my life remained dark spots of brutality, but my home had become my safe haven. Love, won't you just come and join us? Julia called. I looked at her. She cradled our 2-month-old son with one arm while her other hand clutched her ginormous sun hat against her head. The wind was steering relentlessly at the ugly thing. I had made peace with her quirky clothes, but some things were just beyond my tolerance. Love? That word wasn't a casual endearment born out of habit coming from Julia's lips. Every time she said it, it held meaning. She encompassed that word love, that feeling in every action, every smile, every fiber of her being. I headed down to her, sand clinging to my bare feet as I crossed the dune to the beach. Simona and Daniel were taking a dip in the old ocean, chasing each other and laughing. It was warm for late October, but the water was freezing cold. Back in Philadelphia, these moments of childish carefreeness were few and far between for Daniel. At 12, almost 13, he was only a little over a year away from becoming a made man. His 14th birth would mark the day of his induction. His eyes found me briefly and he gave me a boyish grin before Simona tossed water into his face and their chase continued. I joined Julia, wrapped an arm around her waist and grabbed the hand holding her hat down to pull her against my body. Gabriel between us. Gabriel is, by the way, their third child. A gust of wind carried the straw hat away until only the bright yellow of its one big sunflower flashed in the distance. She gave me an indulgent look. You did that on purpose. I kissed her and she softened against me. She handed me Gabriel, who peered up at me with my dark blue eyes. It filled me with pride seeing our physical similarities, but it wasn't stronger than the pride I felt when Daniel or Simona did something that I had taught them, like playing pool. Both of them were quite good at it, and I loved all three of them equally. I have more hats like that, she said pointedly. I know, I've made peace with your love for sunflowers. She had planted several of these ginormous flowers in our garden. What had once been a neatly manicured lawn was now filled with toys for children and Lolu. Lolu is their dog. Wildflowers and the yellow atrocities. You brought chaos into my life. You like my kind of chaos. Daniel and Simona continued their chase on the beach. Lolu jumped up from her spot on the lounge chair and joined them with cheerful barking. The floor of our beach house would be littered with sand tonight. In past, this would have made me furious. I do, more than anything else. I love our life. It's perfect in my eyes. She kissed my chest over my heart and then Gabriel's forehead. We made it that way. We work every day, so it stays that way. Happiness is a choice. I wasn't sure it was true for everyone, but for me, especially since she had come into my life, it was. Julia still painted almost every day and even took course to improve her craft. In one of them, the teacher had asked them to create a painting that expressed her vision of happiness. She painted our children, Lolu and me, taking a stroll on the beach. It was as easy as that. Whenever I looked at the photo of Julia and our little family that I carried in my wallet, one overwhelming feeling filled me: happiness. The end. Okay, so now we come to the spoiler section, which is, see, I'm giving out all the spoilers. I mean, not all, I'll keep some. Let's see how it goes. So, her first wife of Daniel had a illicit relationship with her stepbrother, and both the children of Cassio, they are not actually his biological children. They are the children of his ex-wife, dead wife, and her step-brother. So he does not take a test to actually confirm them. There is a doubt, they may be not. So, but Cassio's father takes a test, and the tests reveal that they are not Cassio's children. But Cassio does not know. His father tells the truth to G, but she tells that Cassio loves them as their own, and he does not care about this fact. So let's not tell him and ruin it for him. Then there's fast forward 9 years where Cassio's father is on the deathbed, and he tells G to tell the truth to him, or like have a children of her own, because they've not had a children yet. They're happy with the two. But he also tells that he's actually told this secret to her father. I mean, G's father. So, G's father, obviously from a maidman point of view, would want his blood to rule over Philadelphia one day. So, he is going to tell the truth to Cassio, but she prevents it by going to Luca directly, because if Luca, who's the head, if he directly tells G's father, then he will stop. He has to stop. He does not have an option, because it's Luca. He's the head of the family and all that. So, there's a portion I'll read where then she goes to a hotel where Luca is staying, and there's a bodyguard. They have a 24-hour bodyguard. So the bodyguard is out of the door. She goes alone inside, and the bodyguard calls Cassio, and she tells the truth to Luca, but Luca does not even know the reason why Cassio's first wife died. Cassio's first wife killed herself, but he never knew the reason why. It was because Cassio killed her step-brother. That was her, she had a relationship with them, whatever. So Luca did not know of this fact. So she told the truth to Luca, which she was not supposed to say, because Cassio never told about that. And it's all 9 years, fast forward 9 years. This all is happening fast forward 9 years. So I'll read the chapter where there's a conversation between the three of them, where Luca and Cassio both tell G to go home so that they can have a man-to-man talk. But she is persistent on staying there, because she knows if she is there, maybe Luca, because he is her cousin, he won't kill Cassio. So I'll read that part. First, Luca calls Cassio. So let's start from there. A little bit extra tidbit. Luca took out his phone. I'm going to call Cassio now, and you're returning home with your bodyguard. He pressed the phone to his ear. Hello, Cassio, I need you to come over. Cassio said something on the other end, and Luca's answering smile made my blood run cold. He shoved the phone back into his pocket. Your husband is already here. Your bodyguard called him the second you entered this suit. Please? I said hoarsely, tears stinging my eyes. They didn't move Luca. Compassion wasn't one of his character traits. A knock sounded, and Luca motioned for me to stay where I was. He pulled his gun and headed towards the door. My mind whirled, trying to figure out a way out of this. Good evening, Luca, Cassio said calmly. Luca stepped back and let Cassio pass, then closed the door. Cassio scanned me from head to toe and then stalked towards me. He pulled me against him, his expression anxious. What's going on? I'm sorry, I whispered. I wanted to help and ruined everything. Cassio searched my eyes before his gaze cut to Luca, who regarded us as if he was trying to decide if we were friend or foe. The change in Cassio's body was immediate. He tensed and the look in his eyes became predator-like as they watched one another. He was armed, of course. 2 guns or at least one or at least the same number of knives. 2 guns and at least the same number of knives. Luca didn't take his eyes off Cassio and regarded him in the same way as Cassio did him. Cassio squeezed my hips gently, then kissed my temples. Let Elia take you home. Elia is her bodyguard. Was he serious? I wouldn't leave the suit without him. Cassio? He nudged me in the direction of the door. I glanced between Luca and him. Cassio, Luca knows Gia and Andrew. Gia is his dead wife and Andrew is her stepbrother. I whispered, imploringly trying to get through to him. Cassio nodded. I know. Your brother called to warn me about your father's plan. I froze. What exactly did he say? Cassio stroked my hair gently. That you're fighting like a lioness to protect Daniel and Simona and me. His mouth pulled into a wistful smile. I searched his eyes. Did that mean that he knew they weren't his kids? I didn't ask from fear of revealing more than Christian had revealed, but his words led to the only conclusion. I know you didn't want to find out. Cassio nodded and then glanced back at Luca, who was watching closely, the hand with his gun hanging casually at his side. You need to leave now. That she should. We have matters to discuss, Luca said coldly. Cassio tried to nudge me in the direction of the door again. I stepped back. I'm not going anywhere without you. Julia, everything will be fine. Let Elia take you home so you can have some rest. I sidestepped Cassio's tall frame to fix Luca with a stare. Will everything be fine, Luca? Luca's grey eyes remained emotionless pools. I think you should leave now, like your husband said. I don't care what you think, and I most definitely won't leave until you swear that my husband will return to me. Cassio hugged me to him. Julia, you will leave now. I didn't miss how he propositioned his body between Luca and me, as if he was worried my disrespect might cause Luca to strike me down. No, I snapped, and let my legs drop away from under me. Cassio was startled and barely managed to soften my fall. I sank down on the ground like a stubborn child or a very heavily pregnant woman determined to save the man she loved. I'm not going anywhere. I am staying here. You'll have to drag me out. Cassio shook his head, but his eyes reflected his admiration. He bent down, picked me up without trouble despite my protests. He carried me towards the door and set me down. His arms slung around my waist, so I didn't try to sit down on the floor again. I clutched at his shirt, wrinkling it. He cupped my cheek between his thumb and forefinger. Go home, honey. His voice was silky and imploring. Tears blurred my vision as I clung to him. Swear you'll return to me? Cassio looked back to Luca, and for a moment they simply stared at each other. I swear. Elia appeared at my side, and at a sign from Cassio, he wrapped his arm around me and dragged me away. I looked over my shoulder at Cassio. He gave me an encouraging smile before he closed the door. Had Cassio lied to me about returning home? And then we have the last chapter, the final chapter. I don't want to read like all the part, like the whole thing of it, because like that will be too much of a spoiler. But I've given already everything, so I'm just confused. But I think I'll not read everything. Maybe I'll read the last part where they finally decide a little bit. Let's see. Luca nodded because Luca asked, "Did you kill Gia?" Luca asked. No, I didn't even consider it, I said. She killed herself like I told you. She missed him too much. Him here is Andrew, her lover, stepbrothers, whatever. The pain of the past didn't come this time. Gia was the past. Julia was my present and future. She showed me what it meant to love a woman as fiercely as I love my children. Luca sheathed his gun. I expect the truth from my men. I didn't want anyone to find out that Gia has cheated. Some people did, of course, and their reaction was bad enough. I hated admitting this, but Luca needed to understand. I swore to Julia that I would return to her, and I had every intention of keeping that promise. I understand, Luca said simply. I'm going to make sure Felix keeps his fucking mouth shut unless you want the truth out. Felix is Julia's father who knows the truth and is, threatening that he will tell everything to everybody so that, people in the mafia, they don't treat with respect the people, illegitimate children. So that was its main aim is that the child of Julia and Cassio gets his deserved birthright, according to his grandfather. The truth about Daniel and Simona, about their blood and why they didn't look like me. Daniel and Simona are my children in every regard that matters. They can't ever find out the truth. They won't. Luca picked up his phone. I should handle it. Luca smiled dryly. Your wife might not be happy if you kill her father, and Felix might count on it. Felix knows I wouldn't hesitate to end his sorry life. However, I inclined my head. Luca had killed family members before, so Felix definitely couldn't hope for mercy. And then Luca has a conversation with his father, which I'm not reading. And then there's a portion where he returns home and he tells the conversation which he had with Luca to Julia. And then there is, one thing, Cassio is not a part of the childbirth during the first two children. So this time he was, and that was like a very good experience for him. You can say like, I'll read the part. 1 minute. Okay. One more push. The doula encouraged her after almost 5 hours of labor. Julia clutched my hand, her face crunching up. She was tired and sweaty. The floor was covered in fluids. My clothes were drenched with sweat and her blood. It was a mess and yet the most beautiful moment in my life. And then a cry rang out. I tensed, holding my breath at the same time as Julia went slack with relief. I stared at Julia's red, sweaty face, contorted in pain only moments ago, now filled with bliss. I could hardly comprehend. Her eyes were frozen on the bundle the doula held up, but I could not tear my eyes from my wife, from the woman who had saved me and my children from the dark paths. Julia slanted me a stunned look, and finally I dragged my gaze away from her to see the little baby that had caused such bliss. He was wrinkly and smeared with blood, and it clicked. That bliss on Julia's face. It crowned my chest, made me feel almost lightheaded with its force. The doula came over to us and put our son in Julia's arm. Gabriel was beautiful. I wrapped my arms around her shoulder, kissing her temple, filled with more gratefulness than I've ever considered myself capable of. Her smile was pure love, unrestrained joy. I would have been happy with only two kids, but now that Gabriel lay in Julia's arm, now that I had witnessed his birth, I knew this would make our life even more perfect. And then you have a little bit of more of epilogue, not epilogue exactly, but like Julia's version and all that. But I think this much is enough. The video is long enough already. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys liked it. Tell me what other books you want review on. I think next week I'll be uploading an audiobook on Angry God by LJ Shen, and after that there'll be another video of I want to make a book on separate videos on my favorite authors, and one of them is Colleen Hoover. So I'm gonna make a book on her. If there's any other writer or a particular book you want review, or something like this, a read with me session, just let me know in the comment section, and I'll see what I can do. So thank you so much for watching this video. Your love and support means the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share and subscribe. Thank you.